King in the land of lovers.
This February, precious moments with Channel One entail endless hours of warm sentiments.
I really love you.
Oh, Lord.
Joy.
Did you get the job, Letty?
Romance.
Oh, babe.
Affection. Passion. Family.
Who are those flowers for? Oh, I'm sure they're for Lucia.
Fulfillment.
Oh, this is so That's sweet. Just the start.
An array of programs specially selected for you to give you and your loved ones the cozy feeling of being at home.
Impressive.
Baby, let me tell you.
The treat is on us.
Are you serious?
Just give us a chance.
Make a date with KBC Channel 1 in the month of love for a heartwarming experience.
You will love it.
Good afternoon. This is the great KBC, and you're just in time for lunchtime news on this 12th day of February 2024. My name is Njue. Susan Thuku is assisting me with the sign language interpretation. I'm informed it's Lucy Mwaura, not Susan Thuku. Thank you so much. You're just in time for a comprehensive live bulletin right here, including sports, where we have the head of state, President William Ruto, leading the country in eulogizing the late world marathon record holder, Kevin Kiptum. We have those details plus much, much more. Thank you for joining us. We begin on a security note where one police reservist is nursing gunshot wounds after a convoy of security officers was ambushed by armed bandits in Baringo North. The security team, led by Area County Commissioner Sangolo Kutwa, was attacked while conducting operations at Kangajoto area following the killing of Thomas Kibet, a head teacher, on Saturday. Baringo County Police Commandant Julius Kiragu says the bandits used a head of cattle as cover to attack the officers.
We have been on operation to try and apprehend those who walifanya ile kitendo vibaya. Tunasema kwamba tunalaani vikali hicho kitendo kwa sababu ni kitendo kibaya sana. People have left banditry na sasa wanaanza kuua watu hovyo hovyo, na hiyo serikali haitavumilia. We want to impress upon the leaders from Pokot community to take out the animals from the disturbed areas and graze in the areas that are theirs, because kuna nyasi ya kutosha, na iwapo wanataka kuingia maeneo ingine iko utaratibu.
Now, President William Ruto has led the country in mourning the death of the world marathon record holder Kevin Kiptum, who died last evening in a grisly road accident along Eldoret Ravine Road in Kaptagat. According to police reports, the Chicago Marathon champion, together with his coach Kaizamana and a woman Sharon Kipkirui, were traveling towards Eldama Ravine in a Toyota Premio when he lost control of his vehicle, veered off the road and hit a tree. report in our subsequent bulletin. But elsewhere, security workers are calling on the government to compel private security company owners to adopt the new proposed reforms. According to the security workers, the only way to cushioning them against tough economic times is enforcement and implementation of the minimum wage, which they believe will motivate them. Among the recommendations in the new reforms include a minimum wage of 30,000 shillings a month and the introduction of a guard force number.
Wakiongezea hiyo pesa itakuwa sawa kabisa. Sasa mtu akienda kununua kitu kwa duka vimepanda, lakini tukafanyia pesa kidogo. Saa hii wakiongezea hiyo pesa itakuwa sawa.
Kana na maisha ya saa hizi pesa ni kidogo sana. Wengine unafanya 10,000, kwa 10,000 hiyo hakuna kitu unaweza. Chakula tunahitaji, tunataka dawa, tunataka shule pia, tuko na watoto wanasoma. Hiyo haiwezi, tunataka tu pesa watu tuongezea, ndio pia sisi pia tukue watu tusomeshe watoto wetu.
And talking of security, there is a discussion regarding the National Security Bill that is being discussed in Parliament. Let's first of all cross over to the National Assembly for more. Let's listen in first.
They're properly put, but of course we had omitted or not considered the most important unit from the bottom. So maybe as a secretary to the cabinet, I think it's an issue that you should have really brought up very strongly, especially as a Kenya Kwanza government. So, Chair, I think that is all I have to say. Yeah.
Thank you. We will have Honorable Farah, then I will have Honorable Mogaka as we seal it.
On the issue of the National Security Advisor, I think that has been carried by everybody. It's dead on arrival. Just forget about it. That one is, I think there was a mistake. If the president wants to have his own personal private advisor, he can have. But that person, again, to be in the national security without, the Constitution is very clear. But you, as an officer who is the secretary to the cabinet, who has the security of tenure, and who is supposed to be the secretary to that committee until a substantive person is appointed to that office, I think can develop in both, or probably, and you find a way. But for the time being, that falls on your shoulders. On the issue of the additional 3 more, 6 in the assumption of office, yeah. President who is incoming, we have seen an outgoing president who has appointed all the other ones before him, can always sabotage the process in which the manner in which it's done. So if they insist on having 6, I have no problem with that. You can have the 6. In any case, he's the incoming president, and he has to be given the leeway and have the people who are going to genuinely work with him to make sure that thing is done very smoothly, but not being sabotaged by outgoing teams. That I have no problem with. On the issue of the seal, I think the seal is the president. The custodian of the seal is the president. When you talk about, and with all due respect to my friends here, when you seal the seal of a cabinet, of a company, yes, the seal of a company is held by the secretary, by the secretary to the company. And it's signed by an authorized person. Not necessarily the managing director, not necessarily the chairman. It can be signed even by the secretary. Anybody can sign. But the seal of the state can only be signed by the president. And if the president chooses to have it in the custody of his own head of civil service, so be it. I don't see anything wrong with that. In any case, he is the custodian. He's the actual custodian himself. And whoever he chooses to hold for him that seal, it's his own choice. I don't think for the period he's there, he can give it to anybody. He can give it to, I don't know, whatever he wants to mention. In this case, the head of civil service. On the issue of... on the issue of the cast, I think that thing has been determined. The courts had their own what do you call, pronouncement on that. As long as the civil service matter, I have my doubts about it. I don't like the judiciary doing all this kind of overreach, what you call judicial overreach. There's certain non-justiciability. Provided it's not part of the government, they're not sitting on the cabinet and the rest of it, and the office is created, I think the executive has certain leeway to create certain offices, the manner in which they want to do it. And if it goes through Parliament and Parliament approves, I don't see any role for anybody else in that. And I don't know whether the number, in any case, has an issue, but then that, I think, would be determined by Parliament. It's going to be an exhaustive debate on that, but I don't see any problem with that myself. I think those are the areas that I wanted to mention.
Thank you, Honorable Farah. Finally, Honorable Mogaka.
Thank you, Co-Chair. Secretary, my name is Stephen Mogaka from West Mugrango constituency and a member of JLAC. And I can't say more that you are the right person to speak for Cabinet. And indeed, this is a government legislative proposal.
That's a live feed from the National Assembly, where the Security Committee is meeting up with the Interior PS, a brief on security and also to deliberate on a number of security issues and also an update on security. We will have a more detailed report. My colleague Abdulaziz Hashim is currently on that bit. Elsewhere, Nyali MP Mohammed Ali has expressed his dissatisfaction with the constituency's poor results in the 2023 national examinations. Ali says he will convene a meeting with all head teachers to understand the challenges that they may be facing to find solutions. Out of the 667 candidates who sat the KCSE last year, only one candidate managed to score a B+, and with another one student scoring a B-. 228 candidates scored D-, while the constituency registered 96 E's. Ali has also urged parents to take responsibility of their children by following up on their children's progress in school.
Mimi nitakaa kikao na walimu wote wakuu wa Nyali. Tuende mahali retreat, wanieleze shida ni nini. Kwa sababu mimi nimejenga shule, mimi nalipa basari, nimenunua basi, nimehakikisha huduma zingine zinaendelea. Wao sasa waniambie ni kwa nini hawanipatii marks ninayotaka. Na wao wakiniambia nyinyi pia mujitayarishe, muniambie ni kwa nini watoto wakitoka shule hamuangalii homework zao. There is something wrong and we must fix. Either it is from your side or it is from their side. And I must fix this problem once and for all. I am not going to put all my energy in building schools, in paying school fees, in buying buses, and then you're giving me the poor results this year. We must change.
Let's now revisit one of our top stories, where President William Ruto has led the country in mourning the death of the world marathon record holder Kevin Kiptum, who died last evening in a grisly road accident along Eldoret Ravine Road at Kaptagat. According to police reports, the Chicago marathon champion, together with his coach Kaizamana and a woman Sharon Chepkirui, were traveling towards Eldama Ravine in a Toyota Premio when he lost control of his vehicle, veered off the road and hit a tree.
President William Ruto said the runner, who was Kenya's future in athletics, has left an extraordinary mark across the globe. Sports Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter, that Kenya has lost an exceptionally valuable athlete. Kiptum was killed in a car crash in western Kenya at around 11 p.m. last night. The police report that 24-year-old Kiptum, the driver of the vehicle, was traveling along Eldoret Ravine Road before losing control and veering into a ditch, hitting a big tree around 60 meters later. Kiptum and his 37-year-old Rwandan coach Garvis Hakizimana died on impact. A second passenger, 24-year-old Sharon Kosgei, was rushed to hospital with serious injuries.
So ningependa pia kusema pole kwa familia, kwa wakimbiaji wenzangu na pia the country at large.
He's waving to the crowd, kisses. An amazing effort by Kelvin Kiptum for a new world record at the Bank of America Chicago Marathon.
Kiptum had a breakthrough season in 2023, bettering Eliud Kipchoge's world record by finishing in a time of 2 hours and 35 seconds. Just last week, his team announced that he would attempt to break the 2-hour barrier at the Rotterdam Marathon this year, a feat that has never been achieved in competition. Both Kipchoge and Kiptum were already named in Kenya's provisional marathon team for the Paris Olympics this year.
Unbelievable. And he shaved so much time off of his last win. And he did so.
And may he so rest in peace. In other news, several people from 5 villages in Kahumbu ward within Kegumo constituency in Murang'a County are admitted in different hospitals after consuming meat from a cow that was later confirmed to have died of anthrax. An estimated 150 people are said to have bought the meat, which was retailing at 400 shillings per kilogram instead of 600 shillings. According to the owner of the animal, the local animal health officers had given the cow a clean bill of health, only for another cow to die after exhibiting similar symptoms.
Christopher Ngoge, who hails from Kanguke village and the owner of the cow, recounted how he returned home on Wednesday last week to find one of his cows lying in the cowshed, exhibiting symptoms of what was at the time an unknown disease.
Saa hii ng'ombe tulichinja, tulikula, kichwa tukauzia mtu yule anauzaga supu, anauzianga hapa kwa hii plot. Wale walitukula ng'ombe ni zaidi ya watu 300. Juu huku hata wale hawajakula wote nikawa wamekula nyama. Wale hawajakula ni wale wakukua huku.
Ngoge told the media that the animal was given a clean bill of health by a local health officer.
Tukaita daktari wa private, akakuja akaangalia, akasema ati kitu yemenyetolewa sio mbaya, watu wanaweza endelea kukura.
He decided to slaughter the cow, which he sold 400 shillings per kilogram.
Kamuuliza tutauza bei gani? Yeye mwenyewe akaniambia atauzia watu 400 ndio watu wakule yote ndio isha, sababu ilikuwa ng'ombe kubwa.
A week later, another of his cows would die after exhibiting similar symptoms. It was confirmed that the animal died from anthrax.
Tukaona ati ni vyema tuite daktari ndio tuhakikishe ni nini ishaiua. Akaona akapima akaona ati ni anthrax.
Those who consumed the meat were taken ill, with some admitted in hospital but others were treated and discharged. Residents are calling on the county government of Murang'a to provide medical support and vaccinations for both humans and animals.
Daktari wa watu waje hapa kwetu wa kampu hapa, na madaktari wa wanyama bado waje, sababu hizi ng'ombe zetu hata hizo tunahofu nazo. Ukiangalia mpaka zile mbwa tumefunga, sikunju zile zilikula hiyo mifupa bado sinakufa.
Sawa biletu tunataka tukuje tuangaliliwe ng'ombe hizi zingine sizikufe. Na tuletewe madawa hapa karibu. Juu mahali tunaambia tuendee madawa 77, watu huko hawana pesa. Fea hakuna. Sasa mtu ataigini wataendea dawa.
Njue for Lunchtime News.
And away from that incident, Gender Affairs Cabinet Secretary Aisha Jumwa has challenged elected leaders to establish special committees to oversee the disbursement of bursaries to students. Jumwa, who spoke at Sierra Girls Secondary School in Busia County during the launch of bursaries for needy and vulnerable women groups, noted that such committees are key in ensuring no one is discriminated against. She added that there was a need to increase the funds to meet the high number of those in need.
Wanahitaji a little bit more boost. Tukikuja upande wa GAF bursary. Hiyo bursary allocation, we need to sit down as a board and step it out. Tukiipeleka juu kidogo itafikia wengi na wengi watafaidika.
Munaona watoto wenu wengi hawaendi shule kwa sababu mheshimiwa women rep atakuja kuchagua wale anataka awapee. Mheshimiwa mbunge atakuja kuchagua wale anataka awapee. Mheshimiwa governor atakuja kuangalia nani hakunipa kura hapati. Mheshimiwa MCA ataangalia mtaa wake nani hapa labda girlfriend yangu mtoto ana shida. Sasa mimi nataka niwaambie, tukifanya hivyo hawa watoto wengine watapata mara 2 ama mara 3 na wewe wako hatapata kwa mtu yoyote. So kumaliza hiyo, hii county bursary committee ikiundwa kwa ushirikiano wa viongozi wote, hapa tutasomesha watoto wote. Na hawajui hii citizen ni kitu gani.
From Busia to Kasarani, where a section of residents of Ruai in Kasarani constituency in Nairobi County are crying foul over what they term as the grabbing of their parcel of land by private developers who have turned it into quarry mining fields. The residents claim the land has become inhabitable due to the deep trenches dug, hence endangering their lives. They are calling on the government to come to their aid and help them regain their parcels of land that will, in turn, put an end to the ongoing illegal quarry mining. This is even as they point fingers at NEMA for turning a blind eye to their plight after several attempts to seek their intervention.
Na kuanzia sasa hivi tunataka kuandikisha mashtaka dhidi ya wale wanaharibu mashamba ya watu, kuharibu environment yetu kwa kushimbua mawe, kushimbua mashimo bila kuzingatia shamba ni ya kina nani.
Mimi binafsi nimebomolewa nyumba, nikapoteza mtoto wangu na sijui ni nini inaendelea. Tunaomba tafadhali rais na naibu wa rais, tunakuomba tafadhali tusikie, uchukue hatua.
Sababu tukienda wanatuambia hata muende kwa DCI, hata muende kwa nani, hakuna kitu kitafanyika. Nataka kumuuliza Rais Ruto, anasolve maneno ile ingine. Na hii mashamba hasura ndio wananyang'anywa. Atusaidie.
Back to education matters, where women working in the field of science are now calling upon girls in secondary schools to take up science subjects to enable them to fit in the competitive job market. The women say that there is considerable underrepresentation of women and girls in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, that is STEM-related career fields. The women who were speaking at Tumutumu Girls Secondary School in Nyeri have also appealed to players in the education sector and women in STEM to mentor girls.
And show them it is possible that either maths, biology, chemistry, physics is not a reserve for a certain gender, that even us, we can occupy those spaces. It is our day. It is our day to celebrate, and many women really have achieved in these spaces. Of course, we have seen over the years that even as we continue to encourage girls, there also have been a situation where many girls are also not getting to that space. And so this need for continuous mentorship and to talk about the importance.
Having women in these courses, having women take up even leadership courses, positions in this area also ensures that the decisions that are made are fully inclusive.
In other news, a family from Limuru, Kiambu County is calling for a speedy investigation following the gruesome murder of their kin. The deceased, who was a primary school teacher, was attacked by unknown assailant who stabbed her, and she succumbed at the Tigoni Hospital, where she had been rushed for medical attention.
Panic has gripped the village of Kamerithu in Limuru constituency, Kiambu County, after a teacher was brutally murdered in unclear circumstances by unknown assailants. According to the family, the deceased was stabbed at her home around 3 p.m. and succumbed to her injuries at Tigoni Hospital.
Hiyo kamera DCI na askari wamejaribu kuangalia, na ile kitu wameona hawajatuambia ni nini, kwa sababu tukiwauliza nasema uchunguzi ni yao, sisi tungoje ripoti kutoka kwao.
The family is now calling upon investigative agencies to unearth the cause of death.
Tuko na huzuni sana kama familia, kwa sababu tunaomba tupate kiini cha hii mauaji. Tunaomba serikali na Kenya Police na DCI watusaidie kama familia ili tuweze kujua nani aliua mwalimu Irene.
So far, 2 phones have been intercepted that will help in the ongoing investigation. Elsewhere, residents of Isiolo in Kina Ward are calling for an IPOA-led investigation into the killing of a 28-year-old man who used to work as a community health promoter in the area. The deceased, Musa Some, is believed to have met his untimely death at the hands of police officers.
Adan hajaifanya uhalifu yote, ni kijana mzuri
mwenye ameua baba. Tumekosa community health promoters. Tafadhali serikali, Mr. Governor, Madam Senator, IPOA, wote tunataka waingilie kati.
Nilipigia simu IPOA na ninajua IPOA wako hapa wanafanya uchunguzi. Tumekuwa na wao kwa site na ukiangalia hiyo mwili utaona ya kwamba hakuna alama ya kuonyesha hiyo kijana alitoroka akapigwa risasi.
Opicho Chemtai for Lunchtime News.
We hope the two families in Kiambu and Isiolo find the answers they seek and the justice they so much deserve. And at about 24 minutes past the top of the hour, we are due for a fast break. But when we come back, we still have more news, including the latest Africa Soccer Champions, or Kings if you like, after the conclusion of the Africa Cup of Nations late last night. Don't go away.
Shule nilisomea high school, tuko tu alumni wawili.
Wewe na nani?
Na Dende Nyoro.
In 1804, the liberation brought by Toussaint Louverture brought Toussaint.
Revolution by who?
Toussaint Louverture.
Morio rada, kwani kona mali yako, unaniangalia hivyo. Unazidai.
So, when he was summoned by the judge to explain why he did so, he told the judge to open the book of Proverbs chapter 6 verses 30.
Mimi mtu wangu alikuwa anaingia mboka za maana, unaona?
Mboka za maana unamaanisha aje?
Alikuwa mwizi wa maana.
What 利用这个规律，我们降低成本的概率在3.22%左右，并且有可能突破大米非人无法量产分。现在全部的停机检修已经结束，我宣布，让我们保持一颗追求真理的心，永不放弃。时间的尽头。
Welcome back to Channel 1 Lunchtime News. Moving on, Ramogi Institute of Advanced Technology has launched an aquaculture training program targeting youths and communities living at the lake regions. The training is meant to equip the students with practical skills, entrepreneurship knowledge, and technical education to make them marketable and also enable them employ themselves.
With the skyrocketing cost of living and youth unemployment remaining among the biggest challenges facing the country, the launch of the aquaculture training program comes with hopes for the lakeside regions.
On that, we are training on fishing, fisheries related courses. We have trained even farmers also outside, and we focus on cage farming, where we have trained staff all the way up to China.
The Ramogi Institute of Advanced Technology Principal Tom Mulati says the program has also facilitated the training of several fish farmers on value addition. He added that the program has also enabled over 15 students from the college to get internships in Israel.
I've learned a lot partaking in the aquaculture sector. First of all, in aquaculture, we deal with quite a number of activities. First of all is how to manage a fish farm. The second, how to produce, grow out fish. The third is how to hatchery management activities.
In addition, the college has also implemented true fish farming with collaboration with Food and Agriculture Organization. Tilio Marco for Lunchtime News.
As the government continues to enforce its 100% transition policy to secondary schools, the likelihood of some students joining and successfully completing high school looks unlikely. This is the case for two students in Garissa Township who are appealing for help to join secondary school. The two, Titus Muli and Kevin Muemi, scored 352 and 292 respectively. Their parents cannot afford to take them to school. Take a look.
The two students from poor families in Garissa Township risk not enrolling for secondary education due to lack of school fees and are appealing to well-wishers to help them.
Kuomba serikali ama mtu yeyote mkanisaidie kwa masomo. Mamangu kazi yake ni ya kubahatisha. Nilitoa ikiuso huko area Gai Secondary School. Kwa hivyo mtu yeyote anaomba kaweze kunipeleka shule.
Tumejaribu tuwezalo tuone kama tutapata usaidizi ili nione kama hiyo nyota ya watoto inaweza kutimia. Mbali tunaangukia batufu. Kwa hivyo naomba serikali au fadhili wowote aweze kutusaidia.
The two, namely Titus Muli, who sat for his KCPE exam at Garissa Primary School, and Kevin Muimi, who sat for the exams at AP Goodwish Primary, scored 352 and 292 respectively. In separate interviews at their homes, the two expressed their fears of missing out on joining Form 1, which they say will crush their dreams. Meanwhile, concerted efforts to address education challenges faced by students from marginalized backgrounds, particularly those affected by insecurity and floods, are in high gear in Lamu County. County woman representative Muthoni Marubu, who spoke during a bursary disbursement exercise, said they are looking for a strategic approach to deal with the diverse needs of student population in Lamu County.
Kupitia NGAF tumepata kuwarudisha shule na pia tumewahimiza watoto wetu kutojiingiza katika mambo ya mihadarati, ikijulikana kwamba hapa kwetu we have a small challenge ya drugs.
Wale watoto ambao wamewasaidia ni watoto ambao wanahitaji, na hawa watoto wanatoka mbali, wengine wanatoka sehemu ya Miruji, wengine Jipendeni, wengine sehemu za huko Maisha Masha, hata sehemu za ambazo zimekumbwa na majanga ya insecurity.
And in Malindi, MP Amina Mnyazi has directed NGCDF board in her constituency to set aside monies to aid students who scored 300 marks and above but had not reported to their respective schools due to lack of school fees. The directive was issued during a bursary disbursement exercise that benefited 105 students joining Form 1.
Wengi wamesha report, walireport 3 weeks ago, wetu wakiwa wanagagaa nyumbani, wengine wanalia, wengine wanakosa matumaini, lakini tunashukuru kwa Mama Amina Mnyazi kwa kitendo hiki alichokifanya kwa kutufanyia watoto wetu waweze kwenda shule.
Wale ambao wanaangaliwa ni wale wa 350 kuendelea. Hao wengine wale ambao wazazi wao hawajiwezi, huwa mara nyingine wanaishia mali ambao tujui kama wanaenda wapi, manake hawapati nafasi ya kuingia shule kwa sababu wazazi hawana uwezo.
Area Assistant County Commissioner Judith Mulei said the national administrative officials were working to ensure 100% transition from primary to secondary schools is achieved.
Na wale wengine pia ambao bado wako kule nyanjani hawajaweza kuripoti shule, hao pia tunawafuatilia mmoja mmoja baada ya mwingine ili tuhakikishe ya kwamba hakuna mtoto wa Malindi anabaki nyumbani, wote wameenda shule.
For Lunchtime News, I'm Gladys Mungai.
In other news, a veteran journalist from Kitui County is nursing injuries after he was allegedly attacked by police officers from Kabati Police Station while in the line of duty. It is believed that he was following up on a matter where parents and locals had threatened to stage protests denouncing the appointment of a new principal at the Mutonguni Boys Secondary School. Musembi Nzengu works with a local newspaper.
Dhuluma kubwa kwa wanaandishi, wanahabari, na ambacho kinaonyesha kwamba uhusiano baina ya waandishi wa habari na polisi si mzuri, hasa katika area hiyo, because kwa kawaida tunafaa kushirikiana, tufanye kazi pamoja ili wananchi wajue ukweli.
From Kitui to Kilifi, where a section of residents of Marafa area in Magarini sub-county, Kilifi County, are set to benefit from several community projects initiated by a Dutch missionary. The missionary Thomas Shins took the initiative after realizing the community was not properly empowered economically. The projects include a modern pig farm, a modern multi-purpose playfield from a local school, a fruit tree garden, and shipping thousands of medical study books from Rotterdam to benefit the Kenya Medical Training College, KMTC, in Kilifi. According to the deputy head teacher of St. Joseph, the Waka Primary School, a beneficiary of the philanthropic gesture, Jacob Ngumbao, enrollment in many local schools has improved.
The learners will grow up physically because we shall have practices as per our schedules. We only go to the field during Wednesday and Friday. So we shall enjoy much from the field and hope we shall be physically fit. Initially it was, from the outlook, it was just a normal school, but in presence of Mr. Thomas, then actually the dignity of our school comes up.
In other news, a non-government organization calling itself Youth Changes Kenya is challenging youth to shun crime, drugs, and substance abuse for a stable and productive future generation. During the forum, the organizers noted that there is need for a holistic approach by different stakeholders to address the many setbacks facing the youth, which include unemployment and education opportunities in the country. The two-day events brought together young people from informal settlements in Nairobi and Mavoko sub-counties to deliberate on various challenges young people undergo in their quest to eke a living.
Tumekuwa na kampi ya vijana kuanzia jana na leo, ambapo tunaendeleza kazi ambayo tumekuwa tukifanya hapo mwakani kwa project yetu ambayo inaitwa Tuwajibike Mtaani. Project hii imekuwa haswa ya kuhamasisha leaders wetu kwa communities waweze kutekeleza wajibu wao. Kwa hivyo tumekuwa tukiendeleza na project hiyo na kuhakikisha kwamba tunahakikisha wana youth hawa wanakuwa active participants kwa ajili ya miradi ambayo inafanyika katika communities zao, na pia kuwaonyesha kwamba change ambayo tunayotaka ama ambayo tunayopigania inaweza hasa kuhimarishwa pia kutokana na vijana.
Mimi nimefaidika na mengi. Kwa mfano ya kwanza, sikuwa najua majukumu ya hawa viongozi wetu MCA, the MPs, the chiefs. If we are to hold them accountable, we need to know their roles. If we don't know their roles, then we may not hold them accountable because we don't know who is responsible for this, who is responsible for that.
Na changamoto zenye vijana wanapitia pale Kariobangi ni wametengwa, na pia kuna profiling na issues za drugs and substance abuse.
In business, tour operators are calling for inclusivity in development of tourism products. The tour operators say frequent consultations will enable the Kenya Tourism Board to showcase all tourism products that the Magical Kenya brand has to offer.
We need to show our national presence in exhibitions and of course in trade shows. There are so many big trade shows that our presence is not really coming out very clearly, but we need to try that. I feel that our government agencies are, of course, in line with Kenya Tourism Board and, of course, Magical Kenya. They should try as much as we can so that we can at least put Kenya somewhere.
Manufacturers are calling for more incentives and initiatives to lower the cost of production to grow the manufacturing sector at a faster pace. The Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry Vice President Chris Kandie is calling for more leeway to be offered institutions making products from imported raw materials.
The cost per kilowatt hour in Kenya is significantly higher. And manufacturing then has a lot of inputs. When you talk about the conversion costs, when the conversion costs are all put together, the costs include power, labor, raw materials, and all other costs. But where we can request the government is to see how that cost per unit can be, subsidized, or a differential pricing matrix is given for manufacturers, so that when they do their cost per unit, they are able then to get it at a low price, be able to price it competitively in the shelves, and thereby grow their volume.
The Kenya Investment Authority is keen on streamlining the way it facilitates investors to implement projects from their infancy. KenInvest chairperson Sally Mahihu says that this will be achieved through a review of regulatory frameworks that will see the agency woo more long-term investors in the country. Mahihu made the remarks in Kisumu during a public participation exercise for the Draft Investment Promotion and Facilitation Bill of 2023.
The Kenya Investment Authority is holding a series of public participation consultative forums on the Kenya Investment Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2023. The Draft Investment Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2023 seeks to align with the Constitution, the Kenya Investment Policy 2019, Mwongozo, and the Bottom-up Economic Transformation Agenda. The draft bill seeks to make it easier for investors to set up in Kenya.
This bill will not only promote investments in Kenya, but also facilitate the successful implementation of investment projects. Because beyond attracting the investors to Kenya, we as a KenInvest have the mandate of also ensuring after we facilitate them efficiently, we retain them.
Officials from the Kenya Investment Authority say if enacted into law, the bill will streamline the coordination of investment-related matters in Kenya by simplifying administrative procedures, enhancing transparency, and reducing bureaucratic hurdles.
One of the key issues that normally investors have a problem with is the bureaucracy, the tediousness of the process. So this bill is going to address at removing the bureaucracy.
Is very excited about investments, and it is a destination to go. Kisumu itself is located at a very vantage point in terms of investments, not just in this city.
In the past, investors have pointed to governance issues, corruption, infrastructure deficits, competition and market entry barriers, regulatory and bureaucratic hurdles as some of the major frustrations of setting up shop in Kenya.
Most policies currently are fragmented, especially trade policies at the county levels. So I would appreciate if this bill is going to speak onto that linkage.
The first Investment Promotion Act was adopted in 2004, and the review is being done to address new issues and some of the gaps that have surfaced over the last 20 years. KenInvest officials say the public participation exercise is being undertaken across the country to provide Kenyans an opportunity to interrogate the proposed bill and submit their views for consideration. Alan Auko, Lunchtime News.
And in other fields, the Ministry of Information, Communication and the Digital Economy is calling for collaborations and partnerships in advancing the smart urban development agenda. Broadcasting and Telecommunications Principal Secretary Professor Edward Kisiangani said it is imperative to harness emerging technologies such as data analytics and Internet of Things to address urban challenges as well as build resilient smart cities.
The basic infrastructure in place, getting buildings where people, tech companies can come and invest in, having roads, and then getting the connectivity for telephone and the internet in place, and making sure that the environment is good for business. It's not the government of Kenya which is going to invest in concert. It is providing facilities and an atmosphere for investment.
Consumers will now be able to purchase directly from businesses on WhatsApp without leaving the app. A solution by cloud communications platform Infobip enables businesses to build pathways for customers to complete tasks and make purchases without leaving the app, improving the experience and increasing conversions. Previously, businesses on WhatsApp had to divert customers to external websites, support services, or payment gateways for information retrieval, contacting agents, and completing purchases. Further afield, Diamondback Energy and Endeavour Energy Resources are in the final discussions towards a deal that would create an oil and gas giant worth more than $50 billion. U.S. shale oil rivals Diamondback Energy and Endeavour Energy Resources are close to finalizing a $25 billion cash and stock deal that would create an oil and gas company valued at more than $50 billion. Here are the details of these and other stories making headlines from across other parts of the world.
The combined company will be the third largest oil and gas producer in the Permian, the top U.S. oil field that straddles West Texas and New Mexico. Its oil and gas volumes will be behind ExxonMobil and Chevron, which have announced recent deals. Permian producers are consolidating in a race to lock in future drilling inventory and output from the top U.S. oil field. The deal is likely to put additional pressure on the remaining farms to combine for greater efficiencies and scale. Meanwhile, China's Xiaomi has told New Delhi that smartphone component suppliers are worried about setting up operations in India amid heavy scrutiny of Chinese companies by the government. Xiaomi, which is the biggest share in India's smartphone market at 18%, also wants India to consider offering and manufacturing incentives, lowering import tariffs for certain smartphone components. The Chinese company assembles smartphones in India with mostly local components, and the rest are imported from China and elsewhere. Xiaomi is responding to a query from India's Information Technology Ministry asking how New Delhi can further develop the country's component manufacturing sector. Finally, Google has pledged 25 million euros to help people in Europe learn to use artificial intelligence. Announcing the funding on Monday, the tech giant said it had opened applications for social enterprises and non-profits that could help reach those most likely to benefit from training. The firm will also run a series of growth academics to support companies using artificial intelligence to scale their companies and has expanded its free online artificial intelligence training courses to 18 languages.
Closer home, Tanzania has formalized its deal with Indonesia on a stake in the Mnazi Bay natural gas project. The $23.6 million deal saw Tanzania purchase a further 20% stake in the project from establishment Maurel and Prom SA, lifting its shareholding to 40%. Here are the details of this and other stories from across other parts of Africa.
In December last year, Maurel and Prom completed a buyout of Wentworth Resources shares for about $75 million. The Mnazi Bay gas fields in Mtwara region have proven reserves of 641 billion cubic feet, with a daily production of about 120 million cubic feet, which is 48% of Tanzania's current gas output and contributes about 600 megawatts to the national power grid. TPDC and Maurel and Prom committed to investing an initial $100 million to expand and upgrade gas compression infrastructure and boost drilling at the project site during 2024. Elsewhere, the Standard Bank of South Africa says it has installed over 7,000 solar panels on homes through its Look-See platform, with consumer green funding approaching 3 billion rand by the end of the third quarter of 2023. According to the group, it has assisted its banking customers to finance over 164 million rand worth of solar systems, an increase of 350% year-on-year. Finally, the recent 48.5% hike in customs duty by the Central Bank of Nigeria through the upward adjustment of the exchange rate for calculating import duties is expected to push up production costs for manufacturers that import critical production inputs. The development also comes with policy uncertainty that threatens investor confidence and the nation's investment climate. With the implementation of the floating foreign exchange rate regime by the central bank in July 2023, the recent adjustment in rate is the sixth since the coming into power of the new government.
And in sports, host Ivory Coast were last night crowned champions of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. The Elephants, who struggled through the group stage of the postponed continental event and only qualified for the last 16 round as one of the 4 best third-place teams.
The champions of Africa, Cote d'Ivoire, on home soil.
Very well, and the Swahili say mcheza kwao hutuzwa. Make a date with KBC Channel 1 for another sporting event. Moving on, 19-year-old Shannon Tan from Singapore carded a final round of 3 under par 70 to take her total score for the tournament to 12 under par 280 and win the 2024 Magical Kenya Ladies Open on her debut event on the Ladies European Tour.
Shannon Tan edged out her closest challenger Alexandra Fanali from Italy by 4 shots to seal her fantastic debut win on the tour and become Singapore's first winner. On her part, 24-year-old Alexandra Fanali played level par 37 on the first 9 courtesy of birdies at the 2nd and the 7th holes and bogeys at the 5th and the 8th. She made a steady start to the back 9, playing bogey-free through the first 5 holes before holding a birdie at the par 5 15th. She, however, dropped consecutive shots at the 16th and 17th holes for a score of 1 over par 74 for the day, taking her total for the tournament to 8 under par 284.
The game has been quite competitive, and we've seen that we had a number of Kenyans playing, and they did their best in as much as they didn't make the cut, but I think it helps to elevate the caliber of sports that we have here in the country.
The 2024 Magical Kenya Ladies Open teed off for the 4th edition of the event at the Baobab course in Vipingo Ridge on Thursday, bringing together 108 golfers, among them 5 Kenyan amateurs. The tournament attracted the participation of golfers from 36 nationalities. Njue Bwile for Lunchtime News.
Very well, and for English Premier League fans, 2 games were played yesterday. Arsenal facing off, and also Manchester United. Arsenal beating 6-1 and Manchester United winning 2-1. But for more of this, kindly don't forget to check out our social media spaces for this news plus much more. Of course, at 4, 7, and 9, we have more news. My name is Ben Troy Njue. Lucy Maura has been a sign language interpreter for this live newscast. Do have yourself a blessed week ahead.
king in the land of
Where?
lovers.
This February, precious moments with Channel One entail endless hours of warm sentiments.
I really love you.
Oh, Lord.
Joy.
Did you get the job, Letty?
Romance.
Oh, babe.
Affection. Passion. Family.
Who are those flowers for? Oh, I'm sure they're for Lucia.
Fulfillment.
This is so
That's dad.
An array of programs specially selected for you to give you and your loved ones the cozy feeling of being at home.
Impressive. Baby, let me tell you.
The treat is on us.
Are you serious?
Just give us a chance.
Make a date with KBC Channel 1 in the month of love for a heartwarming experience.
You will love it.
To get past pain as your skiza tune, dial *812 *502#.
You don't have to carry your past pain into your present. Your generation doesn't have to go through the pain you went through. You have what it takes to bring a new life, a new breath, a new atmosphere, a new name into your generation. Don't just sit and watch a repeated pain.
To get past pain, dial *812 *502#. *812 *502#.
We're calling for it. This is an excellent chance. Saved by Nabali. That's a splendid.
Across Africa, a new era has begun, connecting us with one purpose: to create and share opportunities to grow. Across our continent, across the world, we are creating a better way to a better future. A Pan-African future. Together. EcoBank. A better way. A better Africa.
Let's go, me! I'll kill you, you good for nothing. I will kill you! Huh? Did you hear me? You didn't only make fools of both my daughters. You also played with the feelings of the woman who's going to be your wife.
Be careful,
Why did you
Amador,
do
he's going
this?
to kill him.
It's for Lucia. I want her to come home to this house. But before that, I need Nora and you to get out of here.
I know that you're the only person who loves me more than anything else in this world.
And please stay, honey. We could all just simply move out together and be happy. We could even...
Dad? What's happening, Dad? 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 Dad! Dad! Dad!
Initiative Africa, my name is Asha Samput. Welcome to your weekly magazine featuring Africa on the move through smart innovations and initiatives that work. Today's focus is on biodiversity in Madagascar and young African artists. But first, here are the main highlights. A young and determined woman who has been passionate about culture and art since her childhood in Congo. A multidisciplinary artist who has been dancing, singing, acting, one performance leading to another. She's also drawing, painting and creating designs. A member of the Contemporary Art Center Atelier Somme in Brazzaville, Allegra Nika is our guest today.
I think it's important today for an artist to know how to do everything, to think outside the box, to experiment.
Protecting the trees in the forest in the Madagascan highlands while providing economic prospects. A great mission for NGOs working in partnership with local communities.
So we delivered some training in producing young plants and signed production contracts with them. Moreover, we provide them with fruit tree seedlings as this improves their income.
mission to protect East Africa's oldest historical heritage at the Uganda Museum in Kampala, an example of heritage preservation to follow.
With the collections of ethnography and later on other aspects of archaeology, paleontology.
In central Madagascar, in the Itazi region, the tapia trees of the highlands are being felled on a massive scale for firewood and charcoal production. This deforestation is harmful to these thick-barked trees, which are found only in Madagascar and provide a habitat for the landebe, a wild silkworm. If well preserved, the tapia forest can benefit the local economy. Working with local associations, NGOs are trying to encourage better management to preserve this natural habitat. This participative approach, in coordination with the local community, is leading not only to the conservation of biodiversity, but also to an improvement in the quality of life of local residents through the revival of the silk industry. Watch this report by Vanessa Rakoto-Molala.
In this small village, 48 kilometers west of the capital Antananarivo, this man juggles between his job as a bicycle repairer and his commitment to protecting the tapia forest. As a supervisor, he controls 400 hectares of this forest.
Despite regular surveillance, people still hide